revisiting my dreams with the king.
Yo, good people, welcome to another episode of The Ride, a journey towards your dreams. I'm your host, Johnny King III, aka Still Chill Leroy, and this is the Revisit Your Dreams podcast show, exclusively on the Revisit Your Dreams channel right here at youtube.com. As always, we have a very special guest and a very special episode lined up for you today. But like always, we want to remind you of what we're doing here at Revisit Your Dreams. Here at Revisit Your Dreams, we provide inspiration, motivation, encouragement. We explore real life stories of trial, error, and success, and maybe even provide a few laughs along the way. This is season 4 of the show titled Artisans. And this season, we are celebrating, honoring, highlighting, and featuring artists and creatives who are on a journey to greatness in their professions. Welcome again to season 4 of the podcast. There's a lot going on in the world today, and you could be anywhere doing anything, but we thank you for being here with us today and spending the time. My very special guest today is a touring, consulting, and booking manager for some of today's hottest music artists. He's a founder of Off the Bench Management, an Atlanta-based artist and talent management agency representing major figures in the music and entertainment industry. His OTB management firm represents a roster of clients that include K. Michelle, Latto, AP Ferg, Herbo, Brandy, Muni Long, Tink, and Seven Streeters, amongst others. He's a native of Memphis, Tennessee, and a proud HBCU graduate and fellow alum of the Tennessee State University. He's an active member and proud inductee of the Recording Academy class of 2025. He is a proud husband, father, and fellow member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. In Alpha Land, we know him as Iceberg. Please welcome to the show, making his first appearance on The Ride, a man with a humble spirit and the heart of a lion, our very special guest, Jamal Leach. Welcome to the show.
Good brother. I appreciate that, man. I need to record that and just play it every time I walk in the room. That sounded good.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip it up and send it to you, bro. It's all true, man. I know I could have kept going your accolades a little bit longer than that, man, but probably a lot longer than that. But man, welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this. I like to start off each episode by letting the audience know how I know each guest. Brother Leach and I are both members of the same fraternity and graduates of the same university, but we are separated in age by quite a bit. But I first met him, I believe, in 2013 as he began to come through our local fraternity home here in Nashville, seat 118, as an interested candidate of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Throughout his process of becoming a member, I was especially fond of this brother, although I didn't show it at the time, as he was holding a special place that is near and dear to my heart. We both shared being placed as number 3 on our individual lines. The letter E in his name, his line name, Iceberg, is actually a number 3. So we share that distinction in common. I'm proud to call him my brother. Jerry, proud to call you my brother, man. You got any statements regarding how we know each other?
Oh man. I'll tell you this. I was always happy to see your face in the room, man. Be those times, man. But so you see certain people walk in the room, you were happy to see them get an opportunity to learn and to grow in the space that we were in at the time, coming through the organization to be a member. And I'm happy that I'm a member and have grown so much through you guys and through just the fraternity in its capacity. It's been great.
Yeah. You can see behind him, you see Alpha very, very prominent above his head. And you see to the left of him, you see, all kind of symbols that represent his love and his passion for this thing that we call Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, near and dear to both of our hearts. Let's go ahead and get into it, Brother Leach. You've already accomplished so much in your career, and it appears that you are just getting started. I read a short list of your accolades to introduce you, but your impact upon the lives of others is tremendous. What was the moment in your life or career that made you decide to begin taking your creative skills and leadership skills more seriously?
Man, to be honest, all it took was somebody was for someone to tell me that I couldn't do it. Um, um, I come from the sports world originally. When I met you guys, I was in grad school at Tennessee State University, where I was one of the coordinators from marketing there as a grad assistant at Tennessee State, and was going through that. And this was 2014. 2014 was a crazy year for me, man. I tell you, I was 24 years old. In 2014. Let's see, we were, beginning our process early 2014. We crossed in March. I was in grad school. I got married in June. And by, during all this time, I was, looking at, to grow, and I was growing through the organization, I was growing through my education, I was growing through my marriage, I was just growing through all aspects of life at that point. And by November, this October, I was hired by the Memphis Grizzlies while I was still in grad school. And it was honestly a huge step for me to decide to leave the physical aspect of school and go into the professional realm. It took my professors to push me and say, take it. I went to them, was like, hey, I just got an offer for a job in the NBA. I don't know if I should take it. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if, I'm done learning. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm the type to feel like I need all the tools before I go, what I'm saying, run and do something. And my teachers looked at me and professors looked at me and said, what are you doing? If you don't take that offer, we'll still be here. Like, this is the reason why you're here. You're here to grow and take opportunities like this. Take the opportunity. Grad school will always be here. Thankfully for like the next semester, some professors allowed me to kind of do remote work before remote work was even a thing. They allowed me to finish some assignments and, kind of continue my educational career in grad school. And then, I started to grow within the Grizzlies organization, then the NBA, and kind of quickly climbed the ranks in recognition of, because I was in the sales and marketing area where we focused on season ticket sales and packages and trying to lock in, different, sponsorship deals here and there, and, do different things like that, come up with different creative nights and stuff for the Grizzlies. And I quickly climbed the ranks, was quickly um, noted as one of the best, to do what I was doing in the industry at the time. And so I think, thankful for all of the experiences I experienced before I got there, including, Tennessee State Alphas and doing different things. And that really kind of gave me opportunity to do, to be at the top of what I do. And so I was really thankful for that opportunity. Um, and from there, I was with the Grizzlies for 2 full basketball seasons. Uh, you know, it's kind of crazy. Memphis is my home. When I originally left Memphis after high school, I said I'd never return to Memphis. I'll never move back unless I'm working for the Memphis Grizzlies. And I said it as a joke, not thinking that that would actually happen. And that's exactly what happened. So, going back to Memphis was an opportunity to kind of touch back into my community. And I think honestly, that's what had to contribute a lot to my success, just tapping back into my community and trying to get people who didn't have opportunity to always get to the games. And, I know growing up, it felt like a luxury to go to a Grizzlies game or even a Memphis Redbirds game. It's our AAA, baseball team there in Memphis. And, it felt like a luxury to even get there. And I was pinpoint focused on getting my community, my people who didn't have the opportunity to always get to these games, like find a way to get them in the building. That was my biggest thing. And so that contributed a lot to my success because, it was basically an untapped market people weren't focused on. And it contributed a lot to my numbers for sure. But with that, I grew and expounded. I really thought that I was going to be in Memphis forever from that point. But, working in the industry, you quickly find out that, you might have your heart set on something, but, what others, think has a lot to do with your growth and when it comes to corporate America. And, just kind of became one of those things where just like, some managers were like, hey, you're great, but you can be better outside of here. And I was just like, nah, like I want to be here. Like, ooh, all that. Like, nah, you're going to be better other places. Trust me. I'm just, nah, I want to be in Memphis. I want to do that. And they're like, yeah, that's cool and all. And, they ultimately probably saw more in me than I saw in myself, as far as growth. And, from there, I had a couple opportunities come on the horizon after 2 years of being there with the Grizzlies. Had some opportunities like out in Colorado, uh, had opportunity in Chicago, Cincinnati, just different teams, reaching out to bring me into their organization. Ultimately, I decided to go with Georgia Tech with Josh Pashner, who was being hired from the University of Memphis to go to Georgia Tech to coach, and felt like it was a great opportunity for me to sell someone that I, was familiar with on their program and to help out, and also I get an opportunity to kind of, be in Atlanta. I never really wanted to be in Atlanta originally. And my dad is here. I got some other family, some aunts, some uncles, and stuff that was here at the time. Before, I made my decision to ultimately come to Atlanta to come to work for Georgia Tech. Um, Basically, when I got into the Georgia Tech field, same thing, man. Greatness is gonna follow you wherever you go, as long as you, uphold, those standards. And, quickly rose to the top of the boards and, sales and doing things and trying to find the way to do things differently. Basically, it's just wherever I go, I was trying to do something different to help grow the success of what's going on. That I literally hit my my annual goal in like 4 months. It was crazy. And, I ultimately instantly, thinking like growth, like, hey, getting with manager, hey, how can I grow? Like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then it was like, all right, cool. I want to dive fully into marketing. So it was just like, how can I get into the marketing realm? And, again, in corporate America, patience is more of I want to wait and see, and hey, let's do this, let's try this. We're gonna, see how things come, and me like I'm more so like, hey, I done did it, I done been successful. Like, let's move on, let's grow, let's go, let's go, let's go. And yeah, they weren't with that as much, and and honestly, this is kind of when the entrepreneurship bug starts, coming out of me. Because if you come to Atlanta and if you got that bug on entrepreneurship in you, it's going to come out, and you're going to find your lane, and you're going to jump in it. And that's exactly what happened in that time. And that's when me and my brother, Big Boy AJ, kind of finally reconnected from the TSU days and, being around and doing this and doing that. And I originally jumped in on doing, graphics and stuff because, that's where I come from, doing graphics. Literally went to school. I was an art major. A lot of people don't even know that. Undergrad, I was an art major with a focus in graphic design. And so that's what I ultimately started doing outside of just, of course, doing the sports stuff and doing this and doing that. So I'm constantly doing flyers for his parties that he was having. He was doing this, he was doing that. Then I got a call from one day like, hey, what do you think about, or can you do some touring flyers and stuff? I'm like, yeah, sure, man. Send me the information over, send me this, send me that. I'll, see if you like it, you know what I mean? And knocking it out and start knocking out flyers for him for different artists. And he's just like, yeah, man, you killing this. I'm going to use you for like this, that, and the other. I'm like, all right, cool, cool. And then one day I'm like, all right, man, all right, I'm knocking these flyers and stuff, but hey, I want to do more. Like,
Yeah.
what more is there? Like, tell me more about what you do. And at first he was like, nah, you don't want to do this. You don't want, you're gonna be away from home, you married, da, da, da. I'm like, man, that's cool and all, but I have a real interest in this, like Like, tell me more. Like, what can I do? And he was like, all right, man, I'll give you an opportunity, but no, you got to start at the bottom of the totem pole. Experience don't matter. This don't matter. You ain't never been in this industry. You got to learn from the bottom. I'm like, man, how bad can it be, man? Like,
Yeah.
throw me into the fire. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We was on some alpha stuff at that point. It was just
Yeah,
like,
for
yo,
sure.
bro, we ain't been through it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
throw me, I'm ready. Like, what? It can't be that bad. Like, whatever it is, I'm gonna get through it. And I did. But, a lot of people ask me, what was my first opportunity into this industry? And that was actually being a driver. I was driving the artist around to, literally hopping in the car and driving from Atlanta, driving to Florida, driving here, driving there, anything within like 6, 7, 8 hours, we were driving to for these different shows and appearances and stuff with different artists. And the very first artist he put me with was K Michelle. It was just crazy, to see kind of where we are now with our relationship. And that was this is 2017 at this point. And to know, we're in 2026, almost 10 years of doing this, 9 years in, and still have an opportunity to grow. It's been, greatly appreciated, for my brother, rest in peace to our brother, man. Love him. But, we'll, still continue to grow and, do things and, climb the ranks, man. That's all that matters, man. Just keep climbing and, don't stop and keep growing.
Man, Jerry, you have a very interesting and inspiring journey. It sounds like the number one theme that I've heard in everything that you told me or told us was opportunity. You you were presented with opportunities and you took advantage of them, even if you didn't know how they were going to work out in the end. You had a vision in mind for yourself. You had a goal in mind for what you want to do, how far you want to take yourself, push yourself. You kept asking for more. You kept seeking to do more, and then taking advantage of every opportunity time after time that was presented to you. And it has led you to where you are today. I think that's an amazing testament to you out there watching. Opportunity, when opportunity knocks, it doesn't always knock a second time. Sometimes you just got to go with it and make the best of it and know that for you, what you want to get out of it, right? And use that opportunity to grow yourself, man. I think that's an amazing testimony, man. We're going to keep it pushing, but thank you for sharing all of that. Going from
Absolutely.
Memphis to Georgia Tech to, into making flyers for artists and then driving artists and now to where you are today. It's an amazing journey. Um, Last year, you were inducted, and we'll get to some more back into your management tour management journey soon. But last year, you were inducted into the Recording Academy class of 2025. As a music producer myself, I was very happy and proud to see that happen for you, and see you earn that honor. For those watching who are unaware, what is the Recording Academy? Please explain. And secondly, what has this moment meant to you in your career?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, the Recording Academy, we all know about the Grammys and things and stuff like that. We as members, behind the scenes, we basically support the different initiatives in music and continue to push them through the industry and, basically make sure people are, doing right and adhering to, the different things that's going on within the industry. So that's kind of one of those things that when the opportunity came, I was not going to again. No, I was not going to pass that one up. Major shout out to my mentor, my biggest mentor, my biggest fan, probably one of my bigger fans in this industry, Gina Miller. Uh, if you guys don't know her, she's a black female executive in Nashville that is just doing incredible things. Her name rings big bells throughout uh this industry, and she does major things. I am so blessed and honored to have opportunity to personally know her and consider her not just a mentor, but almost I call her auntie.
Yeah.
We all gotta, culturally we gotta have those, people within that we work with constant that we consider family members. And that is my number one auntie right there, Miss Gina Miller. Big shout out to her. Um, she had a lot to do with the process of me, considering, like, figuring out what it was, how it was gonna be, benefit, how could I benefit it, and once things align, and shout out to some other people too. Shout out to my girl Alexis Granville. She also wrote letter of recommendation for me. Shout out to her. So I appreciate, it was just people that I met and who really kind of saw my work and felt like I deserved the opportunity to be into the organization. Uh, and also shout out to our good brother Double A, who was inducted the year before, or was it 2 years before? um, after, we did the things that we had going on with Tennessee State University and the Grammys and all that, he was doing huge things, and, that definitely brought it to the forefront for me because we work hand in hand together. I was, part of his management team, helping him out, during that time. So, for us to, have that success together, it all kind of lined up and made sense.
Man, thank you for letting us know what the Recording Academy is, and I think it's great to have an organization that helps to uphold. There's a lot going on in the music industry right now. Artists aren't necessarily being treated with the level of respect and attention they deserve, and those types of things. They're not being compensated necessarily in certain methods. They're not being compensated like they should. So it sounds like you have a voice in helping steer the ship in the correct direction for these artists, man. And it's continuing on with you actually physically managing some of them and managing their affairs. So I think that's dope. Appreciate that. Let's get more into your conversation in the conversation about your company, OTB Management, for a moment. Yourself, along with your late business partner, AJ Benton, founded a company that started out as Black Hawk Touring. We certainly extend our sincerest condolences to you, to AJ's family, and everyone who he impacted over the course of his life. How has AJ's life and vision for the company helped you continue to pursue greatness in the music industry?
Man, AJ was that big brother that, like, I never had. I'm the oldest of three, so I'm used to being a big brother to help God and do things. And people tend to come to me for advice even outside of my brothers. Say I have that ability to be an older brother and help steer things. And AJ was one of those first people kind of in my life to come in and be able to do that for me. And his vision for the company was to basically, we wanted to just stand and be seen as an operation, and stand 10 toes against some of the industry's biggest people. And so far I feel like we've had the opportunity to stand up and do that. Black Hawk Touring was crazy. A lot of people don't know until his passing, or people that that would talk to us. I had off the bench management. AJ had Black Hawk Touring. Off the bench management was focused on consulting and management artists. Black Hawk Touring was what it is, touring. It was focused on touring and things. We were behind the scenes for each other. We was each other's number twos. We purposely built this to be to stand on with each other, with support on each other. So of course, um, you know, once AJ, with AJ's passing, I had no choice other than step up to be, what I'm saying, the number one point person on the Black Hawk side as well as off the bench. So, I know a lot, it can be confusing from the outside, what is what is what, but that's kind of what it is. We were, one and one with each other. We brought each other business. That's why even when I toured, with clients that, that I brought in, we did it as a team. So it was ran under, Black Hawk Touring. We actually have other people within that fall up under that umbrella that work, behind the scenes with us as well on the Black Hawk Touring side. And, Things are going well. We're still growing, still taking in clients. I just recently finished the Don Toliver tour with the artist Saw Baby.
We in Houston,
They hometown.
you know what I'm saying, out here with our boy Don Toliver on the Octane tour. Getting through the sound check, running into issues, but you know what I'm saying, that's the purpose of sound check. You gotta get through those issues. Can't wait till the stage time to hit them, so you know what I'm saying, we getting through them.
Nigga, I got issues.
You nigga always got
How about
issues.
that? I got issues.
But we here,
So
that's all that
steady, come
matters.
on.
We here, man, you know what I'm saying? Black Hawk in the building, Black Hawk touring. We're in Houston tonight, man. Shout out to the Toyota Center. Hey, KD, pull up, man. I got you, big dog.
I ran that tour, and it was great. It was fun. Had a lot of fun on that. Learned a lot of things, and I'm proud to say that AJ taught me a lot, and I carry a lot of values that he carried along every day. Simple as that. Like I love AJ, and I still feel he's with me every day. Literally, this is with me everywhere I go on the road. Right here, these is literally some base hat touring passes made, for his home going. But yeah, and it is what it is. He is the reason I'm in this industry. There's not anything like to say a big reason. Like, he is the reason. Without him showing me the path and the door of how to get into this, I wouldn't be here. So big shout out to my brother for sure.
Yes, man. Definitely. That was a dope way to honor and celebrate his life as a touring manager, and with his impact and influence in the music industry. I know, just like him, the impact that he's made on you, he's probably made on many other people, especially the artists that he worked closely hand in hand with, man. That is probably endless. But I think that, what I find not necessarily unique about that story, but I think that's really cool, is that you guys started separately but together. Like, off the bench management was yours, Black Hawk Touring was his, but you needed a touring company to help tour your artists around, and he needed someone to help manage the artists that he was touring around. And so you guys leaned on each other, and I think that's the power of multiplying your efforts, the power of joining forces with like-minded individuals, and I think that's really cool, man. I think that's really cool. You talked about earlier spending time in Memphis as for the Grizzlies as a graphic artist. You did that for Memphis, and you spent some time also helping on some of those efforts with Tennessee State University. Talk about what it meant or still means to you to be able to play a role in supporting both your hometown NBA team, I know you mentioned it a little bit, and your beloved university.
Of course, I'm not a fly-by fan when it comes to sports. I'm a fan of what's dear and near to me. That's why when people come and say, "Oh, what's your favorite college team?" The college I spent my money at, Tennessee State University.
Exactly.
Who you rooting for in the playoffs? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well,
Yeah.
going for the Grizzlies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope the
Yeah.
Grizzlies do well. Like, hey, like, I'm not a fair weather fan. My heart is where my heart is. I'm even a Titans fan. That's my hometown. It's my home state, team. I'm not one of those fans that, follow certain players just because, they like, yeah, LeBron's great, but I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not a whatever next team he gonna be on fan. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
unless it's gonna be the Grizzlies, and we know it ain't gonna be the Grizzlies. So
Yeah.
I'm a real hometown kid from Memphis. I truly represent the state of Tennessee to the best of my ability. I like to stand up for, what it is, what it is. Even though me being here in Atlanta, people quickly know it. I'm not from here, I'm from Memphis. And, that is what it is. Having an opportunity to represent, and the bigger thing for me was I saw the Grizzlies come to Memphis as a kid, as a child. I saw them come there from Vancouver, so it wasn't like they weren't there when I was born. They weren't there as me as, young child. They came there. and I saw them grow, and I saw them do this, and I saw them do that. Like, how can I not, choose to represent that? And so, that and same with the Titans. For a season or two growing up, they were the Tennessee Oilers. They made a stop in Memphis. I remember going to a game with my pops. Like, you know what I'm saying? Went to one game. It was just one of those things. They came through it. Of course, I was a fan. I was hooked. The McNairs, the Eddie Georges. It can go on and on. My boy Chris Johnson, like, shout out to, man, big ups to Chris Johnson, man. What he going through right now with the ALS, man. Like he's literally, I literally have an autographed helmet over here that he autographed. So it's just like, that's a tough situation. But I'm a real hometown kid. I really root for these teams within my home state. I really represent that, and so like they really meant a lot to me. Seriously.
Man, as an artist from my hometown, E40 would say, you loyal to the soil. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Loyal to the soil that birthed you. And I'm the same way with my sports teams. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, but not because I'm bandwagon because they was winning. I've been a Golden State Warriors fan when they sucked when I was a little kid, all the way up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Same thing, 49ers fan, San Francisco Giants fan. Now, I was here before the Titans was here. So when they came here, I'm like, oh, that's a new NFL team in the city that I'm going to school in the city that I
Yeah.
got graduated in. So I'm a Titans fan too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Loyal
Yeah.
to the soil, man. So I respect that a lot. And I thought it was funny what you mentioned about LeBron. We know he ain't coming to the Grizzlies, so we ain't following LeBron. I mean, with all due respect, I love LeBron, the man that he
Same.
is, and the athlete that he is.
Same.
But I'm not a fan of wherever he plays.
Same.
All right, man. I appreciate that. All right, your wife and daughter, both very beautiful, man. Congratulations to you,
Thank
Jerry.
you, man.
Very
Thank
proud
you.
of that. Both very beautiful. Certainly a driving force in your life. How has fatherhood and marriage helped you become and maintain who you are today?
Family period is kind of that thing that you always gonna have to go back to at the end of the day. Things can be going hard as possible, insane. But when you go home, you're gonna have that peace. You're gonna have that is what it is. While this industry, has all its ups and downs and things going crazy, to know that I have a wife has the ability to hold it down, man. And like when I say hold it down, like I truly feel like I couldn't have found a better wife, for myself with all the randomness stuff that I have to deal with. The in and outs, the be here, be there, be gone this amount of time, be here for this amount of time. Get those phone calls late at night. They have to catch a flight the next morning. She's held it down through and through, never complained, takes care of home and now takes care of our child. My daughter be 2 in August. And, you know, man, having a kid, man, having a daughter specifically, man, changes your view on a lot of things. And, like it just makes you want to just go hard as all get out for whatever. Like you never want to see a sad moment on their face. And that's the race I'm running right now. They say, your daughter's got you wrapped around their finger. Yeah, she got me. It's done. It's a done deal. Like we all know that. And that's okay, and I got me a tough cookie, man. That's why I really love my daughter, man. I don't think she'll be one of those girly girls, man. She's gonna be pretty. She'll be one of them pretty tough ones, man.
Yeah.
And I love that about her. You know, uh, just having the opportunity to be around her and kind of see her interact with the rest of the family, and just thinking, growing up, you don't necessarily think about having kids, but you don't think about how their character's gonna be and how they're gonna move and how they're gonna do this and do that. Man, she's amazing, man. I couldn't ask for a better child. I ain't gonna lie. I love my daughter. Absolutely
Man,
love her.
I could see it on your face when I look at
Yeah.
pictures of you and her together, you and your wife together. I can tell when I see pictures of you holding your daughter and embracing her, man, how much love you have for her.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. My daughter just turned 18 today.
Ooh, happy birthday to her, man.
Yeah, man. She just turned 18 today. So, I got a grown one that can't about it. And she a tough cookie
Yeah,
too, man. So,
yeah,
very proud of her and proud of, how she's grown up. But thank you for sharing that. I think it's, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. He who finds a good wife finds a better thing. And sound like you accomplished both, man. So that's dope. All right, Iceberg. Here's a thought provoking question for you. What is your greatest fear in life?
man. Not accomplishing what I was set out to do before I leave this earth. Simple as that. Not accomplishing what I was set out to do before I leave this earth.
I thank you for that easy, simple, clean response. You could have gone long and I wouldn't have stopped you. But I understand that it is what it is. He said what he said. And it is the same. It's the main reason why I asked this question, really, because I think not enough of us realize our potential and realize our mortality at the same time. We know that you have massive potential. You also know that you have a limited amount of days on this earth. You don't know when the day is, and you're doing everything in your power to accomplish everything you desire to accomplish in the course of your days here on this planet. So, thank you for answering that question. I got a second part to that question. In your wildest dreams, where do you see yourself and your company in 5 years?
Man, in 5 years, man. I'm really hoping, because basically at that 5 year from now I'll be 41, and I really hope to be settled into a position in this industry to where I'm not just helping myself, I'm helping others grow within it. And we are doing it at the top level, at the biggest level it can be done. Um, One of my biggest goals in this industry is to be known as the go-to person. Like you got to go to for to get things done the right way. Uh, I just seen like a lot of wrongs in this industry, and you learn from different situations and different opportunities as they come. You're constantly learning in this industry because there's no one way how to do things in this industry. There's no book to say this is how it's done. I wanted to do everything the most honest way, the most cleanest way, the way that keeps everyone happy as possible. Um, that's actually what's on my resume and my pro and under my profile. When people when you look, my goal is to leave every gig at the end of the night, artist is happy, the crew is happy, and the venue that we are at is happy. Today we're here in Boston, here at the TD Garden, and we just do a little green room check. It's part of our job as a TL, make sure that the artists and crew has everything they need when we arrive. So today, now that I got the green room stuff situated, I like to take care of my guys, trying to get them out the way, make sure they get everything they need. That includes also make sure that their guests are taken care of for the show. So we got hard tickets today. Sometimes I email a list over, but today at TD Garden, they want me to physically break these out. So got a long list of folks to go through. So we get these knocked out. If everyone's happy, you did a great job. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the best way to grow in this. People will quickly tell you I don't walk around yelling or with a crazy looking face when I'm out in this field. Yeah, we it's a crazy work day. We don't get much sleep. You get 3-4 hours of sleep. You might get your best sleep on the longer runs on the bus, but at the same time, you're on a bunk on a bus. Uh, you know, it's a lot of things that you're going to miss out on, in life and, doing this and the other just to support somebody else's career. But I'll do it time and time again. I love contributing to others in their growth and to help see what they can do in their potential and be genuine about it. It's not just about the money for me. Like, I truly want to see people grow and reach their potential in their careers, and realize like, hey, you don't have to rule with an iron fist to do it. Um, I'm big on smiling, keeping a smile on my face. I want to see people happy. I don't want to see people miserable. At work, we're away from our families, 3-4 months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be miserable around you every day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna rock a smile. I'm gonna, what I'm saying? If I, see you like something, I'm gonna buy it and make sure that, what I'm saying? You like what type of food, what type of treat, what kind of candy, what I'm saying? What kind of candles you like, for a lot of my female clients, what kind of flowers they like, what I'm saying? Just different things just to keep the smiles going, keep the camaraderie up on the team. That's how that's how I move. That's how I am. It's some people, who don't like it. Unfortunately, I can't, I can't be a fake person and act like I'm just this asshole. I'm not. I can't do it. I'm not set like that. I'm gonna be me. You're gonna get someone who's gonna do everything to make sure everything's always going right, who's always gonna check behind whatever, make sure whatever's going. I'm not afraid to go do something myself. I lead from the front, not from the back. I'm not gonna ask you to do something I wouldn't do myself. And that's part of that upbringing that AJ brought me through, being a driver, doing this, being a stage manager, doing this before becoming a road manager, becoming a tour manager. I've done a lot of these roles. Even shout out to my OG Dre Davis, who owns Blue Alley Touring, who me and AJ worked under when AJ first brought me in. That's who we were working under. We were working under Blue Alley Touring, and he was one of the ones that was like, it's gonna be important that you work every single position. He said it. He told me, you're gonna understand when you get to this position what it takes to do those. You're gonna know. So if somebody telling you something crazy, you be like, nah, all you gotta do is this, and this. I've done it myself. It's not something I'm not telling you anything I haven't done it myself, I wouldn't do myself. So I'm big on, getting things done and done the right way. And but yeah, it is what it is, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. One thing that stood out to me is that you said that in your industry, you want to be known as the go-to person for doing it the right way, and getting things done the right way. And I think that in the music industry and the entertainment industry is very rare, because most people use that, use every opportunity as a stepping stone, even if it means pushing somebody else down so they can rise. And it sounds like you're not in the business of operating in that method. You're gonna play your role. If the toilet got to be clean, you're gonna clean the toilet. But if you gotta book the tour, you gotta book the tour. If you gotta drive the bus, you're gonna drive the bus. If you gotta be a counselor to one of your artists backstage right before they go out, that's what you're gonna do.
Literally.
Yeah, man. I think that's dope. It's why you have risen in your profession and been as successful as you are. And I think more people, I mean, to be able to have a 10 plus year relationship with, you mentioned at the top of the episode with K Michelle, and her not desiring to put somebody else in your place in her life. That's a true testament to the power of what you exhibit every day, man. Thank you for being you, Brother Leach, and answering those questions. But all right, Brother Leach, I can't let you hop up in the ride and then hop up out the ride without having some fun with you. Revisit your dream style, man. So it's time for another installment of Who Got It? Let's get it. All right. So you were born and raised in Memphis. You spent many years living and attending college in Nashville and working in Nashville. And your touring company has you spending many days and nights in and around the city of Atlanta. You also currently live in the city of Atlanta. So we need to know who got it between Memphis, Nashville, and the ATL. All right.
All right,
All right.
let's hear
I got
it. This gonna be good.
I got 6 subject matters for you, and you can
Oh
go as
man.
far into them as short as you want to or as deep as you want to. But here we go. All right, who got it? Memphis, Nashville, or ATL? Which city has the best barbecue?
Well, I don't even know why you even asked that. How's that even a question? It's Memphis all day. Memphis.
So you can
For
brag
sure.
on your city, man. That's why I asked
For
it.
sure, man. I was smoking the reels up this past weekend myself, man. Y'all tapped in on
At
the
the crib,
socials,
huh?
man. At the crib, man. You know how we doing it. We
For
in Memphis
sure.
with it, for sure. For sure.
All right, so if y'all want some good barbecue, you ain't gonna find it in Nashville. I mean, you might find some decent barbecue in Nashville.
You know,
You
that's
might
how
find
it's
some okay
like,
barbecue in ATL because there's a lot of black people down
yeah, you
there.
know what I'm saying?
You know, Memphis is one of them ones. It's Memphis and maybe
Yeah.
Kansas City or something like that. That's like
Yeah.
top
Just
two.
know we ain't using no pellet grills and all that neither.
or propane and
You
all that.
know, we come with that hardcore charcoal. What you mean?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of fluid, all of it. All right, bro. I appreciate that. All right. So who got it? Memphis, Nashville, or ATL? Which city is deepest in its black culture?
Oh man. Oh man. That's a huge question, man. Cause growing up in Memphis, we all know about the civil rights and doing this, that, and the other, but we also know about Atlanta. And we even know some about the history of Nashville too. A lot of people sleep on, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to Nashville and their history and what they had to do within the civil rights. I'm big in history. Like history was one of my favorite subjects growing up. And um I'm a big believer in understanding our past and to know where we came from, to know where we can get to. So, you know, I'm gonna have to honestly give it up to all three of these cities because they were big, huge cornerstones in the civil rights movement. When you talk about Memphis and Dr. Martin Luther King and your good brother Alpha, you know what I mean, and what he did there, but his hometown of Atlanta, what he did here, even some of the things he did with the SNCC and things that he did in Nashville, you know what I mean, with Fisk and TSU. Then um, it's honestly like a cultural triangle almost. When you talk about Memphis, Nashville, and Atlanta and throughout other cities throughout the South as well. But when it comes to culture, man, um, when it comes to the growth of the black man and the culture of where it's going and help rise and take things to the next level and knowing what we can do as a people, Atlanta is doing this thing, I must say. Um, when I got here to Atlanta, a lot of people, talk about, oh, the party, they got this going on, got that going on. Ooh, the unique thing about Atlanta is when you pick your lane, you have, you can stay in that lane. You know what I mean? That's what I really love about Atlanta. You can be in the boardroom, you know what I'm saying, with folks who gonna be at the club, gonna be doing this, that, and the other, and that, and this, who done this, who done that, and still at the end of the day, we're here together growing uh, through business, legitimately like growing and having things going. When it comes to networking, when it comes to meeting random people and quickly finding out, because, we all know about people who can talk the talk but not walk the walk. Here in Atlanta, there's a lot of people who's doing the talking and doing the walking, and who's going to do it with you, who's here to collab and not be a competitor. That's why I love it. It's a lot of collaboration going on here, and people are open to it and not afraid of it, to help each other grow, to help somebody else out. Get a call, hey, I saw you at such and such, who, I had this opportunity. I would love to hear more about this. I love to do this. I love to do this more. Hey, can you come to this event? Can you come to that event? And you get here and you're shaking hands with the mayor. It's like, hold on, like, how am I here? You know what I mean? like like uh that's how crazy Atlanta is. You can just walk in and be in certain places and be sitting next to the lawyer for some of the biggest rappers, and they tap you, hey, I heard you talking about touring and stuff. Actually, I such my client. You just be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, hey, can I get your information? You know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, when it comes to culturally growing and networking, man, Atlanta has it. Atlanta has it for sure. I feel extremely, and it's black business going on. You feel extremely comfortable here, um, doing your work. You don't feel like an outsider trying to get in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's extremely warm here.
Yeah, yeah. I spent a few years living there. My father and stepmother lived there. My sister lives there. I didn't live in the city of Atlanta. I lived in Duluth for like 3.5 years.
Yeah,
But I felt the same energy, that it's a very collaborative energy, a very entrepreneurial energy. It's like a hustler's town, and not
yes,
necessarily hustling in a bad way. Like you hustling forward. Everybody is on their own individual grind, but they're always willing to extend a hand and
absolutely.
pull somebody along with them in the city of Atlanta. So I appreciate that. And the overall answer to that question, the biggest cultural impact, you basically said all three of them, though, because of mainly what happened during the civil rights
The
to fight
history,
for
man.
our existence in those areas.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
man,
sure.
these cities were staples during that time. Like you can't knock that. You can't mention what's going on now without mentioning what's going on then. They these cities stood the test of time, literally. When it came to, allowing us to do what we're doing today, we wouldn't be sitting here doing what we're doing today, feeling as free as we are without the things that they went through then. And, we still gotta do our part to get to the next step though. You know what I mean? So gotta keep going.
Yeah, thank you for that very much. Thank you very much for that. All right, next one. Let's move on. Who got it? Memphis, Nashville, or the ATL? If money was no object, in which city would you build your dream home?
Ooh. Honestly, I fight with that thought a lot. People, oh, is Atlanta your forever city? I'm like, heck yeah. Um, Mostly because Atlanta is kind of that good medium city when it comes to me and my wife. My wife being from Chicago, me being from Memphis, me not wanting to do the New Yorks, the Chicago's, the LA's, her not wanting to do the Memphises, little
it
small
goes it
towns
go
and
both
this, that,
ways.
the
Yeah.
other. Atlanta is near and dear, but Nashville creeps up in the conversation a lot. I love Nashville. It treated me extremely well during my time there in school, and I love Nashville. But I do believe I would build my dream home here in the Atlanta area.
Yeah, Atlanta is like you said, if you're in the business that you're in, um, it would probably make sense with the artist base that you're working with to be in that area because like you said, it's a very collaborative area. It is Atlanta is almost like a central hub to other areas in the South. So
Absolutely.
from that location, your artist can go west, can go
Hmm.
east, can go a little further south, can go north. I think that's very important. And then
Hmm.
raising your family, raising your daughter in an environment that she grows up seeing that entrepreneurial spirit every day. She feels it, that collaborative spirit every day. I can only imagine raising children in Atlanta with the business acumen that you have, seeing what your daughter will become as a result of absorbing all of that over the years. Be pretty dope. All
Absolutely.
right, yes, sir, man. Appreciate that take. All right, next one. We didn't know who got it between Memphis, Nashville, and ATL. All three cities are well known for their music artists and output. Which city do you believe offers the best environment for the growth of a music artist?
So all three cities, like you said, have their, what they're doing. And I'll even quickly break down, my my understanding of the cities, right? Memphis for me is that grit grind. This you're gonna get it out the mud, do what you gotta do. You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? If you make it out of Memphis, you can make it anywhere, right? Nashville, business. That's where every major record label has a business office in Nashville. A lot of people don't know that. Every major is in Nashville, right there. Music Row, um, they're right there, easily touchable. Atlanta, creatives doing whatever you got to, you know what I'm saying, to meet, you're meeting the creatives, you're doing what you got to do, you're growing, you're expanding, and you're being seen, you're doing shows, you're doing this, you're doing that. And, but with that being said, I feel like all three, all three parts of what I just mentioned are still in Atlanta. I think Atlanta is the hub for, especially when it comes to being doing black music, whatever kind of black music you want to do. That's growing in the space. People not just stuck on hip hop and R&B anymore. You can be a pop artist, you can be a rock star, you can be, a lot of soul artists are coming back through. Country music is killing it right now. You know what I'm saying? People are growing in their space. People are coinciding doing hip hop and country now. So it's possible and it's happening. Yeah.
So
Here in
ATL,
Atlanta.
yeah.
Yeah.
And ATL. Yeah. Yeah. I thank you for that, man. I mean, I understand it because that's one reason why I asked this question, but thank you for expressing it the way you did. I may not have been able to express it the way you expressed it. With
Yeah.
Memphis is get it out the mud. Nashville's we gonna conduct business. All the record labels are here. So there's opportunity for growth here. But ATL is kind of a combination of all of the factors. You have some
Hmm.
record labels out there, you have a lot of independent labels out there, you have a lot of creatives, a lot of people who have got it out the mud and are
Hmm.
doing business as a hub in Atlanta, even though they're
Yeah.
associating with these offices here in Nashville to get some
Hmm.
of that stuff done.
Yeah. And then when you add in the fact that the opportunities outside of music here in Atlanta, you have the film industry here that is making a killing. It's the Hollywood of the South. It's this, it's that. Sadly, I say this, but it's really true. You can really kind of tell what's going on in each city by looking at the cars you see on the highway.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
These three different cities are gonna have different types of commute. When you're
Yeah,
seeing what's on the road, you know what I mean? But
absolutely.
it's true. It just it is what it is. Here in Atlanta, people hold themselves. It's the Black Hollywood. They're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing things different here in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Thank you for that. Next one. And it's funny that you mentioned, the different types of cars you see when you're driving through the city. Because this next question, we need to know who got it between Memphis, ATL, and Nashville. Which city is most synonymous with having horrible traffic when driving?
Man, to be honest, to be completely honest, Nashville, man, it's terrible.
Worse than the ATL?
It's worse than Atlanta. A lot of people talk about the traffic of Atlanta, but the thing about Atlanta is multiple ways to get places,
Yeah,
right? Honestly, if like a lot of people talk about the traffic, it's really honestly, if you know where you're going and how to get there. I mean, I've been living here 10 years, literally last month or 2 months ago, made 10 years for me here in Atlanta. I still use GPS wherever I go, but I know to be all right, cool. All right, it's getting like that GPS is telling me where the traffic is. You know what I mean?
yeah,
More than anything. All right, cool. I'm gonna dip down this street right here, me cut back here, and me cut back there. And and we also gotta be, only get in the mindset. It's not like Memphis, or how Nashville used to be. We get everywhere in 15, 20 minutes.
yeah.
You're gonna be 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 45 minutes, depending on where you're going, an hour. It is what it is. But when I say sit in bumper to bumper, Nashville, man, and it's just like I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, why can't we fill out what's flowing? We can't get off nowhere and turn here to get there. Like
Yeah,
it's Nashville, honest, and I think honestly it has a lot to do with the infrastructure and what's going on. And they said no too many times to public transportation and getting them a rail system there in Nashville that they're now probably looking back like
you
we
probably should
messed
have
up.
did that. Yeah, yeah. You had
You
the
know what I'm
opportunity.
saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was talking about rail system back in the 80s when my dad went to TSU. My dad was an
Hmm.
engineering major. I started off as an engineering major at TSU too before switching.
So did I.
But, that's something that they were talking about way back when my dad went to TSU about, implementing a rail system. And, the city just constantly kept shooting it down. Like, no, we're a small town. They want to stick to small town values. And now they're here in 2026 getting killed
Killed.
by,
Explosive people moving.
yeah,
My bad, I
So
didn't mean to
people want to be
interrupt
in
you.
the South. No. You're right. No, we're on the same page. Like
Yeah.
people are moving there, like explosive, like you said.
Hmm. It's crazy. And I think that's part of the traffic too, is there's so many new people here that they're still getting used to where to go, how to get there. So that slows traffic down quite a bit. And they're, the infrastructure, they're constantly doing work on the freeways and the highways. Like, it never ends. I got here in 1992 from the Bay Area, and,
Hmm.
they've been working on I-40 and 65 and 24 since I got here in 92. They still working on it,
Yeah,
and they keep making decisions to reroute this and reroute that, and then 10 years later, oh man, we got to do something different here because they're
gotta
slowing
do it
traffic
again.
down.
Yeah,
So that's crazy. But thank you for that. All right, last one. Memphis, Nashville, or ATL? Who got it? In which city have you personally experienced the most growth in your life?
man. Ooh, man, that's a hard choice because honestly, it's a combination of them for me. All in through and through. Memphis with the upbringing. Nashville contributed for me becoming a boy to a man, and growing in that fact, and becoming more independent than I already was. Growing up in Memphis, and then Atlanta kind of contributed to that the career growth side of things in life. So I'll probably have to say, hmm, man, that's interesting because a lot of the stuff that I do here in Atlanta came from the things that I set up while I was doing in Nashville. When it comes to networking, I laid the foundation of everything that I do now was laid in Nashville. Nashville itself was in a growing stance when I got there in 2008 myself. Um, Nashville is a completely different city from what it is
Yeah.
from
Oh yeah.
2008 to now. It's crazy to even think about the things that I saw while I grew there. Nashville's downtown is completely different. Just so many things are completely different about Nashville. I want to say Nashville probably had the most contributions to my growth because I was able to take what I learned and did there, specifically with Tennessee State, and went back home to Memphis and was able to continue to grow. Went from Memphis to Atlanta and continued to grow. So I'll probably say the foundation that was laid in Nashville helped set up things that I'm doing today still. So probably honestly the contributions in Nashville for sure. Because a lot of people don't even like I was even doing management at Enterprise, at the airport for a while before going back to grad school, and I did as an internship in the undergrad. Like I was doing all kinds of stuff in Nashville, but it all contributes even to today to the growth of where I am now, and um, you know the reason I'm always trying to get on common ground with whoever I run into. Even when I run into issues right now on tours and stuff with people, I quickly try to rectify them before it gets out of hand. It's just like, hey guys, hey, we here together. We gotta be like, that's something I literally learned in Nashville. Working honestly at Enterprise. It was just like it was one of those deals where it's just like you got so much time of interaction to be in a customer's face because you got people come out the plane trying to get into a rental car trying to get the heck out of there, and you honestly you're trying to sell them on trying to upgrade or get this coverage, get this, that, and the other, and people don't want to buy things from people that they don't know. To be honest, so it was all about trying to find common ground, and that's just one of my strategies. Got to enjoy my TED talk for that one, but
For sure.
but but no, like I learned a lot about myself and about growth and how to find common ground with anybody and everybody in Nashville. So I give it to Nashville on contributing most to my growth for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Nashville sounds like it was a hub for you where you went to school, is where you crossed in your fraternity, became a member of Alpha. You got married while you were down here. Your daughter, was your daughter born here in Nashville?
My daughter actually, we were living in Atlanta, but she was born in Memphis. My mom
Okay.
is in the field, So shout out to mom. You know,
Yeah, that's dope.
mom was like, my first grandchild. Yeah, come. We're gonna work it out. Come to Memphis. You
Yeah.
got all the ultrasounds. You got this, got that. Got her doctors. So it was just like boom. You know, right there. It was great opportunity. But yeah.
That's dope, man. Sounds like your life definitely, revolves around the three cities for sure. Deeply rooted in all three cities for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of the same reasons as well. You're very connected throughout the three. Man, thank you for taking that ride with us, man, and that journey on the game segment of Who Got It. I appreciate your responses. Both short and in depth responses. Great conversation. A lot of hopefully audience. You learned some things about the three cities from this brother. He gave very in-depth thought about life in those three cities. So thank you for telling us who got it between Memphis,
For sure. I
Nashville, and
appreciate those
ATL.
questions, man. That was a great session. I like that.
For sure, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. All right. So you mentioned at the end one of your answer to the last question, you mentioned you gotta have to join my TED talk for that. Well, ironically, I'll give you a chance. Here's the final ride. Last question. If you were to give a TED talk to a room of aspiring independent music artists, what advice could you share with them that might help them come closer to reaching their goal to become a renowned performer and touring artist, such as those that you currently manage?
Um, my biggest thing is probably we all have something in common. We all have something in common. We got to figure out what it is. You know what I mean? How I can contribute to what you got going on at the end of the day. Um, a lot of artists I feel do better when they stop thinking about self and think about, how they're spreading their message and how they're getting there and how they're doing this, how they're doing that. And it gives you a chance to start to be in rooms that you probably normally wouldn't be in, because now you're open to more opportunities and you're stepping more into doing this and doing this and doing that. I know plenty of artists who, I'm too big to be doing this, too big to be doing that. Nah, you gotta realize that there's people who ain't heard you before. Or even if they have heard you, you give them an opportunity to support you. You look like you're being supported. Uh, and no matter how small the opportunity is, if you haven't had the opportunity before, take it. It don't matter if you know you got more followers than them on social media. Like, why the publication? I shouldn't be doing an interview with them. Like, what? Why do you feel that way? If they have some kind of following, have some kind of publication that you can Google your name and that publication pops up. You're being talked about. That's what matters. You need to be talked about to be able to become successful. It don't matter who talking about you. I mean, the thing about it, you're not gonna go from not being talked about at all to being talked about on, the Apple Music and the Spotify's and this, that, and the other. It takes those Apple Music, those Spotify's, they pull from those small publications. It is what it is. Like, that's how you grow. You can't grow from nothing. You can't go from zero to being the biggest talked about artist, out of nowhere. Somebody along the way talked about you before. Double XL got a hold of your, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they look you up. They want to see, where did you come from? Where did you grow from? Because honestly, if not, you're an industry plant.
Man, you don't have no roots nowhere else.
If you ain't got no roots,
We
you
can
ain't.
talk
Where'd you
about.
grow from? Where did you come from? Like, how did we hear about you? Yeah, you're. It's either that or you're not gonna get talked about much more. You're gonna have that one time. You don't have any proof of growth. A lot of people want to see. People hear a song, go, oh dang, they ask one or two questions: where they from, or what did they do before this, or what they got next. And if you can't do, if they can't find that, all right, cool, they'll play your song a few times, but it's gonna play out. Don't be afraid to be heard from on different platforms, no matter what those platforms are, be talked about. And then get somebody talking about you other than your mama and your friends and your family. You know what I'm saying? Get
Yeah.
somebody else to talk about you, and that's probably um, stand on that mountain, like when it comes to being an artist specifically, um, and wanted to grow within this industry, get somebody to talk about you. You know,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
That would be an amazing TED talk. Some great advice. If any one of you are watching that is a music artist or knows a music artist that's trying to grow, take heed to that advice. Nothing should be below you, too small for you to do. That one fan, that one person that reads that one article from that small publication might be the person that hook you up with the next opportunity. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so it sounds like, it's great advice to artists, to people, to creatives, to people who are looking for opportunities to grow. Don't underestimate the power of collaborating, even when someone is on their journey of growth.
yeah,
That same interview that you might take with someone who only has 30 followers right now might have 1 million next year and put you on again. And now you're in front of a whole bigger audience, you
hmm
know? And so thank you for that, man. That's, I think, not
yeah,
enough artists, not enough people in the creative space think that way enough to make it make sense. And you
yeah,
definitely broke it down and made it make
yeah.
sense.
And it's something that honestly that we used to hear online. Like nobody's bigger than the process.
Yes. Yeah.
Nobody's bigger than the
Absolutely.
process. You're not bigger than the
Absolutely.
process. No matter who you are, who you know, what you know, who you done did what with. You
Hmm.
still gotta go through the process.
You still got to go through it. Some of us,
Still gotta go through the
we
process.
crossed online with people that are doing major, major things, but
Mm,
they were on the same level as we were, all together going through the same thing to accomplish the same goal. And you had to take your ego out of it. You have to take, your past history out of it and say, this is where I am. This is who I can impact right now. And I'm going to make the best of it, man. Sounds like, the biggest theme that I hear over the course of this interview, this conversation, is opportunity. Brother Leach has shown the aptitude to recognize when opportunity is presenting itself, when the opportunity for growth is presenting itself, and then secondly, taking advantage of that opportunity, not just to get the benefits of it, but to also grow himself and to push himself to the next level and the next stage of his career. So, Brother Leach, man, thank you very much, Jerry. I keep calling you Brother Leach. I call him Brother Leach because he is my brother in real life. But I mean, in as black men, but he's my brother in Alpha Land, my brother in fraternal bonds, Esprit de Fraternité. Uh, so thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate you very much. I'm gonna wrap this up here, allow you the opportunity to speak to our audience. Anything, I know you just gave a TED talk, but anything that you'd like to tell our audience, share with our audience, any products you like to promote, a business you like to promote, anything you'd like to talk about, no matter what it is, the opportunity and the platform is yours.
hey, listen, man. All I gotta say is, just be willing to contribute to somebody else's goal. At the end of the day, don't always be about self. There's so much. Selfishness doesn't always equal success. So, I'm gonna leave it there and you know, get out of here.
Yeah, man, you said a lot. You're a busy man. I thank you so much for doing this, man. Audience, I hope that you got something out of this, something from this conversation. I enjoyed the conversation so much, Brother Leach. Thank you very much. Audience, please like, subscribe, share this episode with somebody who you know that might get something from it. If you know anybody that's an artist, you know anybody who's in the industry, you know anybody, an entrepreneur, you know anybody who lives in Nashville, Memphis, or Atlanta, share this episode with them, because I guarantee you there's something out of here that Jerry Jamal Leach has mentioned that will inspire those viewing. Again, I want to thank you very much for watching this episode of Revisit Your Dreams. We are excited about what we have going in season 4. We are approaching 200 subscribers. We're trying to get to 250 by the end of season 4. We got a few more episodes for season 4. Again, I'm not as big on numbers. I'm not really controlled or moved by numbers as much, but we need our numbers to grow so our channel grows so we can inspire as many people as possible. That's the whole goal. So please like, please subscribe, please share with somebody you know who might benefit from this. And if you know someone who is still in the mission of pursuing their journey, pursuing their dreams, please support them. Please help them grow. Please remind them to keep dreaming and keep growing, because you never know that when their dream might become the thing that improves all of our lives. And lastly, as a reminder, our shows air Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. For all my people out there on the West Coast, I want to thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Revisit Your Dreams. We'll see you again real soon. One love. We out.
Peace.
Peace, my brother.